Hello everyone, my name is Renata and this is my personal literacy reflection on my field of study, which is art education. Let's begin. The following presentation will be broken down in two parts. Part 1 consists of a reflection of the following questions surrounding my field of study. For instance, what got me interested in this field of study? When and how did I form a disciplinary identity? What obstacles and challenges pushed me away from my discipline? How did I overcome those obstacles? But also, how do they manifest in the classroom in the meantime? Most importantly, how did I learn to think in my domain? Let's talk about how I developed an interest in my field. I grew up involved in various extracurricular activities thanks to my mom. She just really wanted to keep me engaged from an early age, so she signed me up for swimming classes, folklore dance, cooking, and ceramics. I really appreciate that my mom did that because it taught me to be active and curious from an early point in my life, and it's something that I still carry into this day. I developed an interest in art during middle school. I had art class with Ms. Meyer. She was an amazing educator that always created lessons that invited us to think outside the box. Eventually, I joined my school's art club, which only became even more special for me because it was a space where I was surrounded by people who also appreciated art the way that I did. It was the perfect recipe to continue creating art. Once I graduated high school, I decided to take a gap year because I wasn't sure if college was really for me. During my gap year, I babysat for two college professors that were interested in having their daughter learn Spanish. As time went on, I started to get more comfortable with the family and their daughter, so I decided to implement some art projects that I thought were interesting and engaging. And I figured I'm enjoying this so much, so why not make a career out of it if possible, right? When it comes to my personal interest in the art field, I really enjoy collage making, photography, watercolor painting, as well as interior design. That was my alternative career choice, but because it wasn't offered at NEIU, I decided to opt out of it, but it's still something that I keep in the back of my mind, as well as just design principles, learning about them and seeing how they're applied. And honestly, our everyday life, you look everywhere and you see art without realizing. So I've always been fascinated by that. Now I'm going to talk about how I developed my identity as an art educator. Once I successfully completed all of my art history courses, I gained a sense of confidence when describing why I was attracted to certain artworks and others I wasn't so much, because I had the proper tools and vocabulary to explain my ideas, but I was also able to implement that into my own work. I also started to feel more comfortable in calling myself an art educator once I started attending art museums by myself. I think it gave me a greater sense of, hey, I can look at this artwork and develop my own claims based on what I know, and I don't need anybody else's validation or somebody to keep me company so it doesn't look like I'm here by myself. It was just a wonderful experience to be able to look at every artwork that I wanted to, every section that I wanted to, without having to worry, oh, is this person having fun? Are they overwhelmed by old artworks? Because no, I didn't have to think about it because I was just there for my own experience and enjoyment. So that was amazing to experience. Another aspect that helped me develop my identity as an art educator was to actively participate in work critiques. These are really useful during art classes because it provides an opportunity for us to showcase our work to the professor, but also our classmates. We receive constructive criticism for them to improve our work or to take our work into the next level. Lastly, I think learning to accept the fact that I think and live like an artist has released so much of the pressure that I used to place on myself. I've always been really sensitive, and I used to get really mad at myself for that. But now I've learned to accept the fact that I'm sensitive helps me when it comes to working with kids as well as staying in tune with my art, because then I know that what I'm creating and what I'm teaching is intentional because I care about it. But of course, just like everything in life, it's not always rainbows and sunshines. There have been some obstacles and challenges as well as criticism, mostly self, that has manifested in my academic journey. For starters, the inability to pay for college. That was really one of the main reasons why I didn't think college would be an option for me. There was also a lack of information and resources when I was in high school, and lots of discouragement from teachers that didn't think I would be able to pay for college. So ultimately, I just put it aside and I decided to take a gap year, as I had previously mentioned. Unfortunately, at the time, all of that discouragement and lack of resources turned into a lack of confidence and self confidence mostly. Um, I just had a lot of personal uncertainty surrounding my career choice. I thought, well, if I'm not good enough of an artist, how can I teach students to be good artists, right? What even is a good artist, honestly? But thankfully, all of that has gone away. But at the time, I do remember it manifested in the classroom by losing motivation in various aspects of my life. I remember I stopped attending classes and just sort of thinking, what's the point of this? I should just work and save some money and pay my bills and I'll be okay. But thankfully, I'm no longer there. But I think I learned a lot from that experience. At the time, I also thought that a career in STEM would ensure my financial stability, so I started to consider something along the lines of biology or chemistry, again, in order to ensure financial stability, but I knew deep down it wouldn't make me happy in the long run. So I'm really happy that I didn't go in that direction because I probably would have been in a completely different path. However, I was able to overcome all of those obstacles and challenges with the love and support of my mom. She motivated me to apply for some scholarships that I never thought I would receive, and I'll forever be thankful for it because she saw potential in me, my mom, moms, and she pushed me to the best of my ability, and I don't think I would have done it for myself. I guess at the time I didn't love myself enough to really do it, but thank God for my mom, truly. I always say that. When it comes to the mindset of I'm not good enough of an artist, I remind myself that art is subjective and I am just doing something that makes me happy, not necessarily seeking outside validation. I'm learning to the best of my ability and applying it into the artwork that I create. But other than that, that's it. That's what I'm doing and I'm happy doing it. It was also really eye opening and interesting to realize that some of my classmates also doubt their abilities. You would think that other artists are really confident in what they're creating, but sometimes that's not the case. And it's refreshing to learn about that because it makes you realize that there are people that you look up to and they probably don't even see the potential that they have. And it could be the same way towards you. People might admire your work and you're not even thinking that your work is worth the time of day. So again, really eye-opening, and it puts things into perspective as to how subjective art is and how mean we can be to ourselves. Last but not least, I've come to appreciate my career because it truly brings me so much joy. I think it's so versatile that it allows me to continue being a lifelong learner. I've always been very curious and interested in learning about as many topics as I possibly can, and I don't think I would see myself doing this if I was in a different career field. So, how have I developed the mindset of an art educator? I think I've come to the point in my career where I can appreciate and acknowledge aspects that help me in this. So I know that by engaging in thoughtful conversations with other classmates that either share similar interests to mine or a different interest than mine, I learned something new from all of them. I've previously discussed the relevance that my art history classes still have in my career. I look forward to learning even more and signing up for more art history classes because one semester is simply not enough. I also try to actively search for artists whose work inspires me in different aspects of my life. Could be photography, writing, teaching styles. There's always something that I can learn from people who have already been in the field and done the work. And then overall, I think surrounding myself with people that support my dedication towards art and children makes it feel so much better, makes the process a lot more bearable as well, because you know that you have a support system that you can turn to when things get difficult. Let's move on to part 2 of this presentation. This is a space where I can reflect on the creation of this assignment as well as to why it's relevant to my field of study. I think this assignment was manageable because I often enjoy reflecting either while I'm journaling or completing daily tasks. It could be about interactions that I've had or choices that I've made in the past, but overall it's something that I'm used to, so it's just a matter of writing about it and presenting it to people. I also really think that the artist in me just loves to create fun presentations, so it's always a great opportunity to showcase my creative skills. However, there are two things that I do struggle with. One of them is finding the balance between sharing just enough and oversharing. I always hope that I'm not talking too much or just oversharing. I want to be concise with my answers, so I try my best. And another thing that I struggle with is feeling silly while recording my presentations out loud. I think it's definitely something that I'm not used to. I don't think I've been expected or requested to do this in other classes, but I can see how it is important to develop that skill because we have to get comfortable with teaching our students and vocalizing the lessons that we want to show them. So I'm not upset about it. It's just, it takes me a little bit out of my comfort zone for sure. I can also definitely see why this assignment is assigned as a starting point in every semester. I think it serves as tangible proof of the commitment and dedication we have put towards our career when we're allowed to reflect and write about it. It also reminds us that at some point we were novices in our discipline, just like our students will be, and I think that really helps us be mindful of how we teach about our discipline because we can't expect our students to know what we know. And last but not least, it helps us enhance our digital skills to ensure that we communicate ideas to an audience effectively. Again, it goes back to developing and enhancing skills that we already possess, but taking it to the next level to ensure that our ideas are coming across in the best way possible for our students. With that being said, I really appreciate your time and I hope you enjoyed this presentation. Thank you.